Hey, family. Welcome. All right, I'm trying something new today. I don't really know how it's gonna work out, but welcome everyone. Welcome to the channel. I usually don't try to be recording because all of my equipment is obsolete and it kind of is probably gonna be dragging. I'll be saying words and my mouth won't match the words or something, so I'll just be on here for a minute. I wanted to pop on here. It's Sabbath day. Had a beautiful Sabbath. The Yahweh sent like a whole list of how to practice and do a service, and I got it just in time. Well, it was probably in my mailbox for a little while, but we had got so much snow. I didn't check the mail for like almost 2 weeks, but I was able to follow along and do my Sabbath service. I just finished my evening communion and my chant of the sound of power for the Yahweh and Mother Earth. And so that was fun. I'm going to try to keep up with it. I did the whole thing in the morning. Maybe I will do a little bit of the Hatha yoga routine before I go to bed. I don't know. We'll see how long I try to make this video. But let me stop running my mouth right now because I know it's been a couple days. I've been wanting to get this video up here about Cain. This is a kind of a special video for me too, because I have a brother named Cain and his middle name is Adam. And so to be able to make a video to put it out there once and for all, anyway, coming from my perspective and the Holy Megillah perspective and the King James Version, it does say that Adam is the father of Cain. And if you got a chance to see the version in the Holy Megillah, then you know that after Adam and Eve fell, and the reason is for killing animals and then eating animals, Lucifer said, now it's time to make a baby. And he told Adam to rape Eve and don't listen to her words. And he said, because the soul that will be attracted to her womb will be a strong soul. Well, the Megillah said it was a dark soul. So Cain was Adam and Eve's son, but there was a dark soul that had incarnated there. And then, if I remember correctly, we may have time to go over there, the story about his daughter. Her name was Lilith. Cain's daughter was Lilith, and Lucifer mated with her, and they had a dude named Sargon, and it says he was evil incarnate. So that would be the son of Sam. You see what I'm saying? But it's still mixed up into the Adamic bloodline. Oh, and then after he had Adam rape Eve, he stuck a metal stick up Eve. Lucifer stuck a stick up Eve to take the egg out. And it says he put the egg from Eve and Adam into a glass tube, and that's how Cain was born. So he was the first test tube baby on this world. And yeah, and I bet you the whole time Lucifer was running around telling Cain, I am your father. You know he was. And that's why, you know, it's not directly written in the King James, but because of that line that comes, we'll jump over there. This is why everyone, so this is Genesis chapter 3. And I took a photograph of it so I didn't have to keep it open because I really can't come on the camera because like I said, my stuff is so obsolete that when I try to be on the camera, it runs slow. So that's why you don't see me a lot. But one day, actually, I'm not even excited about getting new stuff, because then I got to learn how to use all of that. So I'm going to just use this until the wheels fall off. But here's where I wanted to show you in the King James Version is that a lot of people say, you know, that the serpent impregnated Eve here in Genesis 3. and 15, because she said the serpent beguiled me. There's a whole breakdown, but we're not going to spend any more time on this. I just wanted to show you that there was a couple of things in here that reminded me of the Megillah now. Oh, goodness gracious. How now this Lord God is talking to the serpent here, so that's different than the Megillah. Lucifer is the serpent, and he's telling them that he's the Lord God in the Megillah. So, but did you notice that he said here that to the woman, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow? This is what he said to Eve, and thy conception. Yeah, because he had Adam rape her. And then in sorrow, she was going to bring forth children. Yeah, because then Lucifer raped her and took her baby out of her. And then he also said this to Lucifer's words to Adam when Eve was complaining about killing. He said that she was weak. He made her from well, man, I'm not even going to spend any more time on it, but did you see that these are also Lucifer's words? This will be for anyone who has actually seen that video. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Those are Lucifer's words too. She had to serve her husband and all of that because she was weak, because she didn't want to keep killing. And that's why I made that comment a few times in the video, and I hope it didn't offend anyone, but Eve repented first. And that goes along with why she got in trouble, because she was supposed to be the one who messed up first in this version, right? It was Eve who was listening to the serpent, and then everything, she gave it to her husband. So, well, in the Holy Megillah version, she repented first. And that was why Lucifer was angry at her. And so, but remember, Lucifer's pretending to be God. So somewhere along the line, Eve was, in trouble. It was Eve's fault. Everybody said that. Remember, this is what, well, actually, I noticed that Adam blamed God and the woman. Look what he said. The woman whom thou gavest to be with me. So that was Lord's fault. She gave me of the tree, and I did eat. I was like, wow. Well, all right. We spent enough time on this. I just wanted to get it clear that Adam is Cain's father, but he got raised by Lucifer. And did you guys remember the cave that Lucifer said that he was gonna he had prepared for Adam and Eve? That's probably where he raised Cain. And I really started thinking about Plato's cave, like it was an analogy about being in these bodies. Because, man, we're going to go and trace the serpent's seed, and what we're going to find out is that it's this first body of fallen flesh. So it's not there's nobody who doesn't have the serpent seed. But if you know what I know, that what happened when the Lord and the lady made a baby, we're all right, because they left their seed in the human stream too. And if we get a chance, we'll go and read that too. First, we're going to read where Lucifer was talking to Cain. Cain, I think, is about 28 years old, it said. All right, let's go now. All right, so first, before we get started, I want you guys to take a look at this really quick, because this is what I've been reading for the last couple of days. And it's from a book called The Murder of Reality by Pierre Sabat. He's got a website. Just Google his name. He is a linguist, and he shows in the language how it's all connected. I was reading chapter 42 from him, and it was about the rib and the serpent. And so he says that this is the conclusion of his book here. Throughout ancient corpus, the serpent is described as a liar and a deceiver, Arabic ifrit, an entity that hides its form via symbolism and is protected by the secret society network. says the dragon's presence is legitimized through the priestcraft, religion, state, and government. Alright, so this guy, Oannes, got the fish on his head, he shows, and he says that Oannes, Lord of the Foundation, an appellation of Osiris, is a pun on the Semitic word anas, rapus, cognitive with anon, cloud, cognomens of the dragon. He says here that Oannes is a variation of the Babylonian word Aednos, people of the water, characteristics of the sailor or angel, prototypical of Osiris, the Lord of the host. Okay, and so remember that the Lady Christ showed Sarah Jalil that those seraph artificials was coming in and out of the ocean and going into outer space. And then this reminded me here too. It says the priesthood linked water with the spirit received through the organ of thought. So remember, that's how these bodies now, they speak from within us. And it's hard to hear the voice of Jaja because we're so dense. And so this is their priestcraft. Yeah, man. He said something else down here about rapists too. Accounts record the host as the sailor, nomad, or alien. They appeared as serpents or amphibians and are revered as the destroyers, rapists, and pillagers. Okay, so this is something we're going to be reading to trace this serpent priesthood and what they're doing and how they are murdering our reality, because that's what they did. Everything you feel, see, hear, do, touch, taste, none of that is real. It's all a manifestation of what the killing and then the atmosphere and the density, it's all that, you know, like, okay, so anyway, I'm going in too much, but all right, let's go over now and read from the Megillah. So we're going to be reading from Nazarean Book of Genesis, chapter 19, and we're going to start at verse 68. If you have the hard copy, that's page 149. And there's some good footnotes here. I'll put them in the description box. It says, from the time of the foundation of the first Nasarean Ishshah in Cush, Lucifer wreaked havoc in many regions of Cush. Yea, Lucifer had deceived many who now believed him to be Yahweh, their God, and he and his seraphim had mated their seed with the eggs of the daughters of mankind. Behold, Lucifer taught many to kill animals for food and pleasure, and to sacrifice them to him, their God. Lo, due to these practices, the people became denser and easier to influence. Yea, the entire region of Cush was polluted by the noxious vapors of death, and Lucifer trained Cain to be the first human priest of the temple of the serpent on this world. For Lucifer had failed in his attempt to make Adam his first priest, and with the rebellion of Eve, Lucifer had banned the women of this world from his priesthood, saying, their intuition is an apple from the wrong tree, and should they feed that apple to men, as Eve poisoned Adam, none of this world will obey my voice. Wherefore, the women of this world must be under the dominion of men. Behold, the Luciferians could not climb the mountain of peace in the center of the garden, whereat was the Nasarean kibbutza, for they were too dense to ascend the path. Therefore they could not harm the Nasareans of their homeland. But lo, holy Abdiel sent missionaries to the various regions of Cush, and often went on missions himself. For Abdiel knew that the truly high are those who reach low to help those in need. All right, we're going to skip a couple verses, and the part we're skipping is where Lucifer had told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. because Abraham and Sarah were visiting the earth, and they're from the seventh heaven, if you don't know. And Abraham told Lucifer, "Get behind me, Satan." He's servant of Satan, he said, actually. No true God would desire blood sacrifice of beast or man. Any God who desires this or uses it as a test of faith is no God but a demon. Says Lucifer was angry and he was going to strike Abraham with his staff, but Abraham showed him who he was. Lucifer just cursed and fled. Right? And then, right, so verse 106, Lucifer went to Cain and told him, "Behold, I am the Lord God, and you are the work of my hand. For 28 years since your birth, I have prepared you for this day, for the time has come for your consecration as the first high priest of my temple on this world. Only one thing is needful. You must sacrifice a Nasarean. Lo, you have killed many Nasareans by attack and ambush, but have not yet performed human sacrifice. Yea, you have sacrificed many animals, but a high priest must be anointed with the blood of mankind. And the Nasareans must feel my wrath, for they refuse to worship me. Behold, the killing of animals has made this world denser. Yea, now I can walk everywhere, but the mount in the center of Cush. With the sacrifice of humans, my terror will make this world so dense that the Nazareans will be unable to walk this world lest they give up their ethereal abode. And surely they will refuse dense bodies and leave this world. Yea, they will abandon this world to my hands, for behold, why would they stay? We're going to skip a little bit more now over to verse 145. It says, Lucifer sent Cain in search of a Nazarean to sacrifice, and lo, he gave to Cain a special weapon, a staff of fire. Behold, Lucifer showed Cain how to make the staff spit fire, yea, and how to control the amount of fire it spit. For this staff could spit just a little fire and sting, or it could spit a bit more fire and knock the victim unconscious, or it could spit even more fire and kill. Cain practiced upon birds and other animals, torturing them before sacrificing them to Lucifer, false Yahweh. Never before had Cain felt such power. Never before had he felt such excitement. And never before had he had so much fun. Cain came upon Abdiel and Ishshah by a spring of water. Ishshah was healing an injured bird. Yea, it was a bird that had been tortured by Cain and escaped. There were 6 soldiers of Lucifer with Cain. They grabbed Abdiel, and 3 grabbed Ishshah. Abdiel said, "What do you want?" Cain replied, "Yahweh, the Lord God, who made this world, desires a human sacrifice. Yea, and he desires a victim to be a Nasarean." Okay. I bet you Cain didn't know that Abdiel was his brother, because Lucifer had raised him in that cave. He was born and raised in the cave, man. So Cain goes on to say in verse 164, "For nothing good comes out of the Nazarean kombucha. The Lord hates you because you only sacrifice fruits and grains. Though the Lord is not pleased with your sacrifices." Now, doesn't that sound like another line out of King James Version? But it's a twist. Listen, this is what Cain is saying to Abdiel. Now in the King James, they had Cain offering fruit, and it got rejected. But here you got Cain saying that it's Abel who offers the fruit, and it's rejected. So you see that in the King James Version, the twist was to get us to think that the Most High accepts blood and animal sacrifices. So, all right, let's keep going. Sorry, sometimes when I see these little twists, I could go on a tangent. So this is Cain talking. He says, I'm going to start at verse 164 again. "For nothing good comes out of the Nasarean kombucha. The Lord hates you because you sacrifice only fruits and grains. Lo, the Lord is not pleased with your sacrifice. Yahweh is pleased with my sacrifices, for I give him blood. Okay. So then Ishshah speaks up. She says, if you do this thing, you will harm yourself. For what you do to others will be done to you, not by us, but by others like yourself. For behold, evil destroys itself. Cain shouted, it is a shameful thing for a woman to speak to a man as though equal. Yea, for the Lord God has revealed that he created man to rule over woman. For first he made man, then he took a rib of man and made a woman to be the servant of man. Therefore, be silent. Abdiel said, the one who calls himself Yahweh and is your Lord is not truly Yahweh. He did not create this world, and he is not God. The true Yahweh is God, and God is immanent and transcendent. The true Yahweh is loving and kind and does not desire blood sacrifices of beast or man. Cain pointed his staff at Abdiel and stung him with fire. Behold, had Abdiel confined himself to the holy mountain, his body would be too ethereal to feel a sting. But lo, in order to preach in the regions of Cush and even beyond Cush, he let his body become a bit more dense to breathe and walk in that atmosphere. He and the other Nasareans were still more ethereal than the Luciferians, but now could feel the fire. At this time, the Nazareans could walk in both the rarefied atmosphere of the holy mountain in the center of the garden and in the denser atmosphere of other regions. But the plan of Lucifer was to make this world more and more dense until the Nazareans could no longer walk in both atmospheres. For then Lucifer believed the Nazareans would surely abandon this world and leave it to him. Okay, so it goes on. It says this is where Cain actually kills Abel and Ishshah, and they've had at least 7 children by now, so that's a different twist in the story too. Abdiel had a few children before he was killed, and so did Cain. Um, verse 187. Wow, I just remember that from back in the day. That's a murder on the police number 187. Verse 187. Ishshah, seeing Abdiel stung by fire, moved to heal his wound. But Cain stung her with fire, and she fell to the ground. Abdiel, using Zion, broke free from the 3 men who held him and moved to help Ishshah. Then, lo, Cain killed Abdiel with fire from his staff. But Cain killed only the body of holy Abdiel. The soul of Abdiel went to the lamb and dove. Yea, and they gave Abdiel the body of a cherub, and the name Gabriel, which means man of Elohim. And since that day he has served as the messenger angel of the center branch of the tree of life for this world, and he will serve in that capacity until the end of this world. Behold, after Cain killed his brother Abdiel, for remember, Lucifer had taken him as an embryo from the womb of Eve and raised him. They subdued Ishshah with the staff of fire and then took her to the altar of the false Yahweh within a dark cave. There they sacrificed her unto Lucifer, whom they believed was Yahweh, the Lord God. But lo, Cain killed only the body of holy Ishshah. The soul of Ishshah went to the lamb and dove, and they gave her the body of a cherubah and the name of Ishmael, which means woman of Elohim. And since that day she has served as the messenger angel of the center root of the tree of life for this world. Wherefore she is called Shekinah, for she represents the divine presence in the garb of the physical world. And she will serve in that capacity until the end of this world. And as the center root and the center branch are mated for eternity, so are Gabriel. I don't know. I guess it could be Gabriel. I don't know. So are Gabriel and Ishmael, eternal consorts. Yea, they are co-workers, lovers, and have times of sweet communion, even in their spiritual bodies. Because yes, in the teachings in the Megillah, the soul is male and female as well. It's not just the body you're wearing. That's a whole nother talk, a whole nother time. Sorry that this got so long, but I really got a lot more to say. And so I'm going to make a little series about the serpent seed. We're going to read more from Pierre Sabac's book. Let me see if I can take you to the front of the cover, and then we'll get out of here. This is some serious juice. He's a linguist, man. And here it is. Murder of Reality. Let me see if I can shrink it up. There it goes. Tell you, my computer runs so slow. Hidden symbolism of the dragon. Pierre Sabat. But it's online, so you don't gotta buy it. You can just read the PDF. Alright? Alright, guys, stay tuned. We'll be back with some more of this hidden symbolism of the dragon. Yeah, because, whoa. Like, we read in the Megillah too, that some of those seraphim were originally reptilian. So the serpent terminology, it fits perfect with the teachings of where these, who these, what, all of that, the whole reptilian, all of them teachings, man. Oh, man. All right, guys, stay tuned. I'll be back soon.